So, I mean, if you've got young children, move them away from the TV screen for a second.
Oh, you're not going to strip down again.
No.
Last time you did that,
No,
it was
no,
just
not this
horrible,
time.
horrible. Okay.
But I mean, if you ask a really out there hypothetical, like, if God told me to rape babies, would that be okay? I'm not saying for sure what their answer would be, because I don't know what, if there's...
God would never say that.
Yeah, I know, that's
be,
what a lot of them would say. But I mean, once you get an individual action which is so horrific and repugnant that they're willing to say, no, that's horrible for its own sake, and I don't even want to think about the idea that God would order something like that, they're basically not taking orders from God anymore. They're taking orders from some internal sense of right and wrong, and there are some actions that just in their own right are so bad that they don't accept the idea of God suggesting that. So God's not the standard. Martin, you've been furiously taking...
You'd have a really hard time getting them to admit, to actually give you a solid answer on that. I've tried, and they will always insist, oh, God wouldn't do that, it's a stupid question, it's contrary to God's nature, or whatever. But, of course there are individuals who would say if God tells you to kill your child or whatever, you do it because it's correct.
Right,
of course, they're the same people that go on to make moral arguments about why God does or doesn't do stuff, which doesn't make sense, because if everything he does is right, then he can do anything, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure. But, I mean, and I guarantee you that if there was a specific story that was about baby raping in the Old Testament, they would find some...
I thought there was. Something about keep the virgins for yourselves or something like that?
Well, they weren't babies, but yeah.
Could have been, who knows?
Yeah. Let's not go there.
Well, just to give you an example, there's a conversation I was having on YouTube. My reply to...
No, don't have conversations on YouTube.
Bad news.
I don't even call those conversations.
I have to reply sometimes.
No, you don't.
It's a never-ending whirlpool of...
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, but this happens in real life too. I have discussions with people face to face, and it just goes in circles.
Well, yeah, I've been trying to sort of organize my thoughts on this. And, it seems to me that if you want to take the Adam and Eve story seriously, in terms of why in the world is there evil, the question that I would ask is, all right, it seems like if you really look at the story, and if you look about the fall of man in Genesis and all the rest of it, it's hard to escape the conclusion that these were results that God wanted all along, right? Because think of it. Why would God create this earthly paradise of Eden, right? And, do all the little animals, hopping around being happy, and and everyone's in harmony, and it's all beautiful and great. And then deliberately sabotage this earthly paradise by putting something in it, okay? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? This is what it was. Deliberately put something in this garden that Adam and Eve, can sabotage, right? And then intentionally direct Adam and Eve's attention towards this tree by saying, don't eat from this tree. And anyone who has young kids, and I've had Christians tell me that, well, Adam and Eve were so innocent, they were just like 3-year-old kids. Well, all right then. What do you do? Any parent would know, Russell, tell a child don't do the thing, and immediately it becomes the most intriguing, attractive, fun thing that they could possibly do, right? I mean, that's kind of the kids' psychology. They have to sort of see what it's all about. So God deliberately sabotages his earthly paradise by introducing this element of...
and if you have a 2-year-old, you don't just say, hey, 2-year-old, don't stick your finger in that socket. You get the little child things that you put on the socket. Yeah,
precisely. Yeah, but God... And then not only does God draw their attention towards the tree, but he allows Satan in the form of the serpent to come in and work his little mojo on Eve, and just... How can any of this have gone on without God either knowing of it, if he's omniscient, and intending it? Because, so it seems like
they must have been created with a nature that compels them to explore, or at least to look at things that they're not supposed to look at. I kind of wonder, when I hear about our sinful nature being the cause of sin, how could our sinful nature be the cause of sin? How did we sin if we weren't already sinful? And if we weren't sinful, It's another circular thing.
If I were having this conversation, this is the point where I would get kind of impatient and like jump to, why are we having this conversation? I don't think there is any such thing as sin. That doesn't mean I don't think there's such thing as bad things that hurt people, but sin is just defined as stuff that makes God mad. And if you haven't demonstrated to me that there's a God, then then there's no such thing as sin until further clarification.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about these kinds of conversations is that they are all just sort of exercises in,
Yeah, I mean, the only reason
it's all academic.
I mean, the only reason the morality topic ever comes up is because Christians will throw out this absurd claim that there's no way to be good unless you believe in their God thing, and that just makes no sense. And it's easier to talk about why that makes no sense than to get caught up in this sort of esoteric philosophical question about why would God do this or that. Because honestly, I don't care why that fictional character would do this or that unless I'm in a literary analysis class.
Yeah, it really is just an exercise in hypotheticals when you're kind of just throwing down for the sake of the argument. Let's say all of this is true, but it's so frustrating that they accept this system as being reasonable that you kind of just want to poke holes in it and show them that it's inherently contradictory. And how can they defend this if they don't even understand it?
Well, if you're
which they clearly don't.
If you're gonna let yourself be frustrated by people on the people on YouTube being unreasonable, then you're in for a lot of frustration in your life.
Oh, I'm afraid it's closer than YouTube. It's right in my family, and I adore it.
Okay, one of these,
so,
right?
Well, I end up having these circular conversations a lot with real life people.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, you can't change their minds, probably, so you can only have those conversations or not have them based on how fun they are for you.
Believers have their minds changed all the time, right? I mean, it's tough, though. I mean, it's a lot of hard work. You want to know, the only thing that I could say in response to why they just accept this as reasonable is, the only thing I can really think of is that these are authoritarian belief systems. They define morality in terms of authority, right? Not in terms of, what effects, what consequences do actions actually have on people. Morality is just a list of rules that comes from an authority figure. And so in that kind of context, in general, you're someone who simply accepts things that you're told, because that's the nature of accepting authoritarian rule, in your life. So, so that's going to be a thing that you're going to have to get around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's probably better to go further back and try to attack the foundation rather than argue over the details.
Yeah.
Just remember, they bear the burden of proof.
It's kind of all about framing. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for calling.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Lisa. Good luck. Let us know how that goes.
Thanks a bunch. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
See ya.
Surely there must be some theist flailing around getting beaten to death in the chat room who can come here and defend himself. And
right.
So, yes.
A few mid-show announcements. I noticed that the phone number to call us hasn't been up for a few minutes.
No, there it is.
Oh, no, it is. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. It has been on. We could use more callers. We got one right now. If you are in Austin, don't be fooled by all these international calls. We especially love getting people who are local to us. That's how the show started out. So if you see the number up on your screen right now and you're watching public access television, whether you agree with us or not, especially if you don't agree with us, call in.
Yes, please do.
And if you do agree with us, you can express your appreciation live in person in, about 50 minutes by showing up at Threadgills on Riverside Drive in far South Austin. Where we'll all get together and have dinner and have a jolly old time. And if you really don't want to call at all, but you would like to get in touch and have these kind of discussions with us, tv@atheist-community.org is the email address.
Though not to devalue fans of our show who call in. We love to hear from you guys too, but
yes,
we all.
And Steve in San Francisco, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, thanks for waiting.
Good morning. Hey. Quick question. I was raised evangelical, and now I'm atheist. And I've always had interest in the ancient aliens, and
which ones?
How they could have the influence on us on the the religions that we all have today.
You mean like von Daniken's claims and stuff like
exactly.
that?
Von Daniken, or even the most recent shows on History Channel, talking about more.
The extremely misnamed
but-
History Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I suggest that History Channel is a really, really poor source for these kinds of
history?
History, yes. Well, you know that von Daniken isn't really taken all that seriously, you know.
By anyone.